What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another reverse 1999 video. Okay guys, we got some pretty big news actually. So I don't know if you guys remember, a couple weeks back I did, or maybe a week back, I did a update video on the banners that were out for CN, including limited time banners and regular banners, and it looks like they're actually switching it up a little bit for us from the CN version. So I want to bring this up to your attention because I know a lot of people were waiting for Voyager, but it looks like Druvis is coming out with Necrologist and Click. So that's going to be dropping on 11/9, the same day the collab is happening for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So pretty big day for both games. Now, if you don't know anything about Druvis, we're going to actually go into it. Now, I believe the reason why this is happening is because of Limbo. A lot of people are struggling with Limbo because of the debuffs required. So petrification, for example, is an incredible debuff that helps people progress through Limbo, and Druvis is one of those characters that is going to help a lot of people advance in the game. So a couple things I want to do real quick, right? One, I want to talk about the actual banner, because Click is actually a pretty damn cool unit as well, but Druvis is definitely a star, and Necrologist is no joke either. So both of those guys are going to be unique, or both those characters are going to be unique, but Druvis really is what a lot of people may want to go for if they're stuck in Limbo. So you guys can see here, shout out to Pride, when they have a day 20 left, right, or a day and 20 hours left before this banner comes out, you guys can see who's here. Again, it's Druvis, Necrologist, and Click. Sorry, it's not showing up, but let's talk a little bit about Druvis and what makes her very unique. Now, if you know her on the tier list, Prideman has her at an A, and the only reason why she's hitting the A is because a lot of bosses are immune to petrification or petrify. That really doesn't change the fact that she's probably one of the most useful characters in the game for Limbo, right? Because Limbo is going to be one of those things where that's considered endgame. It is considered endgame, and status effects are going to be a massive part of that in order to advance. So let's go through Druvis's characters and talk about what some of her best teams are, what her kit is, and how you want to build her and who you want to build her with. All right, guys, so let's do a quick breakdown here of what Druvis is, what she does, what affiliation she is, all of her skills, and then talk about the best team setup you want to use. Now remember, this is going to drop at the same time as the Events of Melania banner, and then Pickles is coming afterwards. So if you don't plan to go for Druvis, that's okay. You can get her in a regular summon at some other time, but this is going to be a rate up option for you. So especially if you're stuck in Limbo and you need somebody who can do petrify and control the crowd control, this is going to be a great unit to have, obviously, right? So for those who are looking to summon, she is a plant unit, a 6-star, mental damage, and you guys can see the following skills: Silence in the Woods, mass attack dealing 400 mental damage to all enemies, and 1 round of petrify to the main target. Now, what does petrify do? Cannot act, dispels the effect after taking reality damage. So very important to note that it can be broken if you guys do any form of reality damage attack to it. So Wind in the Woods deals just a single target attack with mental damage. The debuff here allows petrification as well at 2 stars, and then of course increases damage at 3 stars, allowing petrification for 2 rounds. So very, very powerful, especially for controlling the battle in Limbo. A lot of these enemies can be petrified, so this is a great way to complete Limbo with a lot more ease and stability, right? And then Early Dawn, mass attack, deals 120% mental damage. This attack enjoys 30% penetration. And you guys can see here, Among the Woods, when the caster is in status up or post status, deals 20% more damage. Among the Woods deals 8% more damage when entering. And then when the caster enters battle, all plant allies enter Circle of Life status. Circle of Life gives healing plus 10 and leech plus 10. So super, super cool unit to have. These are the best side cubes for her. And then you guys can see the stats further. Again, I will put this in the description below. You guys can check her out. There's some pros and cons. Consistent mass damage output, can reliably apply petrify, has a good balance between damage and survivability, thus being able to flex a little bit more in role teams. And then before I3 needs a team built around her to unleash her potential. So what that means essentially, guys, is that the team around her is going to be Satsuki. Satsuki's probably going to be the best unit to have around her. And I'll show you guys a couple team things here, right? So let's go to team building. And you guys can see around Druvis. Let's find Druvis. Well, and I'll show you guys the best team to build around her, because this is actually a really good team to have. There he is right there. Petrified team, right? So damage dealer, Satsuki, support Druvis, and sustain, of course, Lasource. Very, very easy to use. So Satsuki and Druvis can carry repair here, with Satsuki jumping in on Druvis's constant application of Petrify to extend its duration with Rigidity. As all of the units deal mental damage, you won't have to worry about enemies breaking out of the control early. So remember, reality damage breaks it, right? Mental damage does not. While offensively being lackluster, the constant petrify and decent damage coming from both Satsuki and Druvis ensures that once the combo is going, it is very hard for the enemies to break out of it. So super, super important to note that they are going to continue petrification and not break anyone out of it. So these two here are a dream team together. Lasource is just nice to have. Druvis and Lasource are the defensive units in this team. Druvis provides the team with damage heal and leech rate, so with Circle of Life at I3. Again, you don't have to push her at I3, that's up to you on that one, which also triggers her I1, while Lasource constantly healing, make sure the team is topped off while they execute their combo. Lasource is a great, great healer, and a cheap one at that. So there isn't much in the way of offense buffing or debuffing, resulting in somewhat mediocre damage from Satsuki. Druvis buffs herself with her Insight 1, but the team is definitely a useful pocket pick for any certain annoying stages that's holding you back. Specifically, it's going to be used for, like I said, Limbo, right? Limbo is end game, so that's where you're going to use this team here to really survive and just pick at your opponents one at a time, or overall with AoE DPS. The reason why this team isn't commonly built around is because Changeling shook the plant meta and more damage-focused attitude, using poison to nuke waves of enemies. Despite this team remains a solid option. It's probably one of the better control-based teams available, right? And that's what I was talking about. It's just having the control over your enemies and making it easier. So with that being said, guys, you guys know obviously Melania is coming out. You guys know that Pickles is coming out, and then obviously a month later we're gonna have ourselves Tooth Fairy and Changeling. So whether you are gonna be free to play or a whale or a dolphin is up to you how you approach this. If you want to advance further in Limbo, she's a great character to carry, especially if you have Satsuki, and obviously having what's her name, Lasource is easy to get. So it's completely up to you. Me personally, I'm gonna skip this banner. I'm not really focused too much on Limbo because I'm doing the 3 and 4 star challenge right now, and I'm trying to get them to go as far in Limbo as I can. But I think I might go for Pickles, and then maybe Changeling is gonna probably be my next 6 star on my main account. So if you are a Druvis user, please let me know what you guys think. Is this a banner that's worth summoning for? Like, especially if you guys have her on the team and you guys are utilizing her, because for me personally, like, she did attract me to going towards her because I love units that can do debuffs and status effects like this. But because her limitation was on bosses, I never actually bothered on my main account to summon for her. Also, I know Satsuki and Druvis are a great combination, probably the best pairing currently for a Petrified team. I know Lasource is obviously a good option as well too, but I would imagine like Pocket Healer or even Balloon Party would also be a very, very good option. So for those who are planning to wait for Melania, does this change your mind at all? I'm curious to see what people plan to do here, because again, Druvis does make a pretty substantial difference in Limbo, and a lot of people are currently trying to finish Limbo because it is end game for us right now, right? And if you are a Druvis user, please let me know, how accurate is this banner? Is this a banner that you would go for? Is this a banner you recommend people using? And also, are you utilizing Druvis to her full potential with any teams that is not currently listed here? We'd love to hear back from you guys. All right, guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.